It was a Tuesday evening when everything changed. Lisa had been volunteering at the Hope Community Kitchen for about 6 months now. She came every week after her job at the insurance office, trading her business clothes for an apron and spending 3 hours serving meals to people who needed them most. The kitchen was always busy on Tuesday nights. Steam rose from big pots of soup and the smell of fresh bread filled the air. Lisa had gotten used to the routine. Smile, serve the food, say something kind, move to the next person. Most interactions lasted just a few seconds. People were hungry, tired, and usually just wanted their meal so they could find a quiet place to eat. But this Tuesday was different. Lisa was standing behind the serving counter, ladling out portions of chicken stew, when she noticed an older woman walking slowly toward her station. The woman looked to be in her 70s with silver hair pulled back in a neat bun and bright blue eyes that seemed to take in everything around her. Her clothes were clean but worn, and she carried herself with a kind of dignity that made Lisa pay attention. What struck Lisa most was how the woman moved. While most people hurried through the line, eager to get their food, this woman walked deliberately, as if she was searching for something more than just a meal. When the woman reached Lisa's station, something unexpected happened. Instead of simply holding out her tray like everyone else, she looked directly into Lisa's eyes. Not just a quick glance, but a real, meaningful look that made Lisa feel like this stranger was seeing right into her soul. "Good evening, dear," the woman said, her voice carrying a slight accent that Lisa couldn't quite place. It sounded European, maybe Eastern European. Lisa spooned the stew onto the woman's plate and was about to hand over the tray when the woman did something that caught her completely off guard. As Lisa extended the tray, the woman reached out and gently grasped Lisa's free hand with both of hers. The touch was warm and firm, and the woman held on. She didn't grab roughly or make Lisa uncomfortable, but she held Lisa's hand with a kind of intentional gentleness that was both surprising and somehow comforting. "Humans bond by touch," the woman said softly, still holding Lisa's hand and looking into her eyes. "It's how we know we're not alone in this world." Lisa felt her cheeks flush. She could hear the line of people behind the woman shifting impatiently, and she knew her fellow volunteers were probably wondering what was taking so long. In her 6 months of volunteering, nothing like this had ever happened. People usually just took their food and moved on, but something about this moment felt important. The woman's hands were weathered and showed signs of hard work, but they were gentle. Her grip wasn't desperate or needy. It was more like she was offering something to Lisa, not just taking from her. Lisa found herself unable to pull away, not because the woman was holding too tightly, but because something deep inside her didn't want to break this unexpected connection. In the woman's blue eyes, Lisa saw something that reminded her of her own feelings lately, a kind of loneliness that she'd been carrying since her divorce 6 months earlier. "I understand," Lisa whispered back, though she wasn't entirely sure what she was agreeing to. The woman smiled then, a real smile that reached her eyes and made her whole face light up. She squeezed Lisa's hand gently one more time before letting go and accepting her tray. "My name is Anna," the woman said as she took her meal. "Thank you for seeing me." Lisa watched as Anna walked to a small table in the corner of the dining area. She sat alone, but she didn't seem lonely somehow. She ate slowly, occasionally looking around the room with those observant blue eyes, sometimes nodding to other diners or smiling at children who were there with their families. For the rest of the evening, Lisa found her attention divided. She continued serving meals and chatting with other people, but part of her mind kept returning to that moment with Anna. She had never experienced anything quite like it. The woman's words kept echoing in her head. "Humans bond by touch. It's how we know we're not alone." Lisa realized that in her everyday life, she rarely touched other people except for the most basic interactions. A handshake at work, maybe a quick hug with close family members, but nothing like what Anna had done. There had been something healing about that simple human contact, something that made Lisa feel more connected and less isolated than she had in months. As the evening wound down and they began cleaning up, Lisa kept glancing over at Anna's table. The older woman finished her meal slowly and carefully, making it last. She helped stack some chairs before leaving, nodding goodbye to the volunteers and guests. Before she left, Anna walked back to the serving area where Lisa was wiping down counters. "Will you be here next week, dear?" Anna asked. "Yes," Lisa replied. "I come every Tuesday." Anna smiled. "Good. I hope to see you again." As Anna walked toward the exit, Lisa felt something she hadn't expected. She was already looking forward to next Tuesday. For months, volunteering had been something she did because it felt like the right thing to do, a way to help others and maybe feel a little less sorry for herself after her marriage ended. But now, she realized she was genuinely excited about the possibility of seeing Anna again. There was something about the older woman that intrigued her, a wisdom in her eyes, a gentleness in her touch, and a way of speaking about human connection that made Lisa want to understand more. That night, as Lisa drove home to her empty apartment, she thought about Anna's words. In a world where everyone seemed so busy, so focused on their phones and their own problems, when was the last time someone had really tried to connect with her? When was the last time she had really tried to connect with someone else? Lisa looked at her own hands on the steering wheel and could still feel the warmth from Anna's touch. For just a few seconds, she had felt truly seen by another human being, and it had been exactly what she needed without even knowing she needed it. She found herself wondering about Anna's story, about where that accent came from, and what experiences had taught her about the importance of human touch. Most of all, she wondered if she would have the courage to be open to whatever Anna might teach her about connecting with other people. As she pulled into her parking space, Lisa made a decision. Next Tuesday, she wouldn't just be volunteering to help others. She would be there to learn something about herself and about what it really meant to reach out to another human being. The following Tuesday couldn't come fast enough for Lisa. All week, she found herself thinking about Anna and that moment they had shared. At work, during quiet moments between insurance calls, she would catch herself wondering what Anna's story was and whether she would show up again. When Tuesday evening finally arrived, Lisa got to the community kitchen 30 minutes earlier than usual. She told herself it was just to help with setup, but deep down she knew she was hoping to see Anna again. As Lisa tied her apron and started arranging plates, she kept glancing toward the entrance. The kitchen was busier than usual tonight. Steam rose from big pots of vegetable soup, and volunteers hurried around preparing for what looked like it would be a busy evening. Other volunteers noticed Lisa's distraction. "You seem different tonight," said Margaret, an older volunteer who had been helping at the kitchen for years. More excited than usual. Lisa wasn't sure how to explain without sounding silly, so she just smiled and focused on her tasks. But her heart jumped every time someone walked through the door. Then, at exactly 6:30, Anna appeared. She wore a different outfit this time, a dark blue sweater that brought out her eyes, but her silver hair was pulled back the same way. What surprised Lisa was that Anna didn't go straight to the serving line like other guests. Instead, she walked directly to where Lisa was working. "Hello, dear," Anna said with that same warm smile that had stayed in Lisa's memory all week. "I was hoping you would be here." "I promised I would be," Lisa replied, surprised by how happy she felt to see this woman she barely knew. Anna looked around at all the preparation happening in the kitchen. "Would you like some help setting up?" she asked. "I have nowhere else to be right now, and I enjoy staying busy." Lisa looked around. They could always use extra hands, and something about Anna made her seem completely trustworthy. "That would be wonderful. Would you mind helping me arrange the bread baskets?" As they worked side by side, Anna began to share small pieces of her story. She had come to America many years ago, she said, from a small country in Eastern Europe that Lisa had never heard of. The name sounded like something from a history book, full of consonants that Lisa couldn't quite pronounce. "In my village," Anna explained as they filled baskets with dinner rolls, "we did everything together, cooking, eating, working in the fields. We were always touching each other, a hand on the shoulder when we passed by, holding hands while we walked to market, hugging when we met on the street." Lisa noticed that as Anna spoke, she naturally reached out to touch Lisa's arm or briefly rest her hand on Lisa's shoulder. At first, Lisa tensed up slightly. She wasn't used to casual touch from people she didn't know well. In her world, people kept their hands to themselves unless they were family or very close friends. But Anna's touches were so gentle and natural that Lisa began to relax. There was nothing uncomfortable or inappropriate about them. They felt like punctuation marks in their conversation, ways of emphasizing a point or showing connection. Here in America, Anna continued, arranging bread carefully in each basket. People seem afraid of touch. They stand far apart when they talk. They shake, hands quickly and let go right away. I understand why. There are good reasons to be careful with strangers. But sometimes I think people forget that touch is one of the most basic ways humans show care for each other. As they worked, Anna told Lisa more about her journey to America. She spoke slowly, choosing her words carefully, and Lisa could tell these weren't easy memories to share. Anna had lost her husband and her 2 children in a war that destroyed her village when she was in her 40s. She had spent years in refugee camps, moving from place to place, finally making it to America when she was in her 50s, with nothing but the clothes she wore and a small bag of photographs. The hardest part, Anna said quietly, pausing in her work, was not the hunger or the cold or even the grief. It was the loneliness. In the camps, we still held each other when we cried. We still sat close together when we were scared. But when I came here, I learned that Americans need their space. I spent the first 10 years feeling like a ghost walking through other people's lives. Lisa felt a lump forming in her throat. She had never experienced anything like what Anna described, but she understood loneliness. Since her divorce, 6 months ago, she had felt invisible too, just in a different way. Going to work, coming home to an empty apartment, having conversations that never went deeper than the weather or weekend plans. "Is that why you come here?" Lisa asked gently. "To the community kitchen?" Anna nodded, her hand stilling on the bread basket she was arranging. "This is the only place where I feel human again, where people don't mind if I reach out to them. Everyone here understands what it means to need something from other people." As the evening progressed and they began serving meals, Lisa watched Anna interact with the other guests. She noticed that Anna had a special way of connecting with each person that went far beyond just handing them food. When a tired-looking mother came through the line with 3 young children, Anna knelt down to the children's level and gently touched each of their faces while asking their names. The children, who had been fussy and restless, immediately calmed down and smiled. When an elderly man who walked with a cane had trouble balancing his tray, Anna placed her hand gently on his arm to steady him, then patted his shoulder while asking how his day had been. The man, who usually ate quickly and left, ended up staying to chat with other guests. When a young woman who looked like she hadn't slept in days came through the line, Anna took both of her hands briefly and looked into her eyes while saying, "You're doing better than you think you are, dear." The woman's eyes filled with tears, but for the first time that evening she smiled. With each person, Lisa could see the same thing happening that had happened to her the week before. People would relax a little, their shoulders would drop, their faces would soften. Anna wasn't just serving food, she was offering something much more valuable. When Anna reached Lisa's station in the serving line, she repeated the same ritual from the week before. She took Lisa's hand gently and held it while they looked into each other's eyes. "Humans bond by touch," Anna said again, just like the week before. "But tonight I want to add something. Touch is also how we heal each other." Lisa felt tears starting to form. She hadn't realized how much she had needed to hear those words, or how much she had needed someone to hold her hand with such genuine kindness. "Anna," Lisa said softly, "would you like to have coffee with me sometime? Outside of here, I mean. I would love to hear more of your story." Anna's face lit up with genuine joy, the kind of happiness that comes from unexpected gifts. "I would like that very much, dear. Very much indeed." After the kitchen closed that night, Anna and Lisa walked to a small coffee shop down the street. The evening air was cool, and Lisa noticed that Anna linked their arms as they walked, as naturally as if they had been friends for years. The coffee shop was nearly empty, just a few college students with laptops and an older couple sharing a piece of cake. Anna and Lisa found a corner booth where they could talk quietly. As they sat across from each other, Anna continued to share her story. She lived alone in a tiny apartment about 6 blocks away from the community kitchen. She had no family in America, no close friends, and most days she spoke to no one except the cashier at the grocery store and maybe a neighbor in the hallway. The community kitchen, Anna explained, wrapping her hands around her coffee cup, is the only place where I remember what it feels like to be connected to other people. The rest of the week I exist, but I don't really live. Lisa found herself reaching across the table to take Anna's hand. It felt natural, even though she had never done anything like that before with someone she had just met. Anna's hand was warm and slightly rough from years of work, but it felt comforting in hers. "You don't have to be alone," Lisa said, surprising herself with her boldness. "I mean, if you want, I could visit you sometimes. Or we could have coffee regularly. Lisa paused, realizing something as she spoke. "I think I need the connection too." Anna squeezed Lisa's hand gently. "In my country, we have a saying. When 2 people reach for each other at the same time, it means they were meant to be friends." They talked for another hour, sharing stories about their lives, their hopes, their disappointments. Lisa found herself opening up to Anna in ways she hadn't with anyone in months. There was something about Anna's gentle presence and genuine interest that made it easy to be honest. As they prepared to leave, Anna did something that surprised Lisa again. Instead of a quick goodbye, Anna stood up and embraced Lisa in a real hug. Not the brief, polite kind of hug that Lisa was used to, but a genuine embrace that lasted several seconds. Lisa couldn't remember the last time someone had hugged her like that, like they actually cared about her well-being, like they were grateful for her presence in their life. Walking to her car after saying goodbye, Lisa realized something important was happening in her life. For months, she had been going through the motions of daily life, feeling disconnected from everyone around her. But Anna was teaching her something she had forgotten, that reaching out to another person wasn't weakness or neediness. It was one of the most human things anyone could do. By the 3rd week, Lisa found herself looking forward to Tuesday nights in a way she never had before. She and Anna had met for coffee twice since that first conversation, and each time, Lisa learned something new about the power of human connection. Anna had shared more of her story during their coffee meetings. She told Lisa about her childhood in a village where neighbors were like family, where children grew up being hugged and held by dozens of different adults, where holding hands while walking was as natural as breathing. "We knew that touch was medicine," Anna had explained during one of their conversations. "When someone was sad, we didn't just say nice words. We put our arms around them. When children were scared, we held them close until they felt safe again. When old people were dying, we made sure they never died alone, never without a gentle hand to hold." These conversations were changing something deep inside Lisa. She found herself paying attention to how rarely people touched each other in her everyday world. At work, people shook hands briefly during meetings and then stepped back quickly. Friends gave quick hugs, hello and goodbye, but nothing more. Even families seemed to limit their physical contact to special occasions. Lisa began to understand what Anna meant about feeling like a ghost. In a world where everyone was so careful not to invade personal space, it was possible to go days without meaningful human contact. She realized that since her divorce, she had barely been touched by another human being except for the most basic interactions. On this particular Tuesday, Anna arrived at the kitchen even earlier than usual. Lisa was surprised to see her when she walked in at 5:30, a full hour, before they usually started serving. "I hope you don't mind," Anna said, "but I was wondering if I could help with more than just set up tonight. I know how to cook, and I thought maybe I could be useful in the kitchen instead of just serving." Lisa spoke to the kitchen coordinator, a cheerful woman named Betty, who had been running the program for over a decade. Betty was happy to have an extra pair of experienced hands, especially someone who seemed as capable as Anna. Anna spent the evening helping prepare the meal, and Lisa was amazed by how naturally she worked alongside the other volunteers. Anna seemed to know instinctively how to move in a busy kitchen, when to help and when to stay out of the way. But what impressed Lisa most was how Anna interacted with everyone around her. She had a way of making casual, appropriate contact that seemed to energize the whole kitchen staff. A brief touch on someone's arm when asking for help. A gentle pat on the back when thanking someone for assistance. A warm hand on the shoulder when offering encouragement to someone who was struggling. Lisa watched as the entire atmosphere in the kitchen became more relaxed and friendly. People were laughing more, talking more, working together more smoothly. Anna wasn't just helping with the cooking. She was creating a sense of community among the volunteers themselves. During the dinner service, Lisa noticed something else remarkable happening. The guests seemed to respond differently when Anna was involved in serving them. She would spend a few extra seconds with each person, often placing a gentle hand on their arm or shoulder while asking how they were doing. One elderly man who usually ate his meal quickly and left immediately lingered at his table after Anna had served him. When Lisa asked him later if everything was okay, he said, "That lady with the silver hair reminded me what it feels like to have someone actually care about me. I haven't felt that in months." A young mother with 2 small children looked close to tears when Anna knelt down to the children's level and gently touched their faces while asking their names and ages. Later, as they were cleaning up, the mother approached Lisa and said, "Most people look at us like we're a problem to be solved or a burden to bear. That woman looked at us like we were family." Lisa was beginning to understand that Anna's approach to touch wasn't just about her own need for connection. It was about recognizing the deep human need for physical comfort and contact that existed in everyone, especially people who were struggling or isolated. After the service ended that night, Anna pulled Lisa aside to a quiet corner of the kitchen where they could talk privately. "I want to tell you something important," Anna said, taking Lisa's hands in her customary way. "When I first came to this kitchen months ago, I was thinking about giving up. Not just on America, but on living. I felt so alone, so disconnected from everything that makes life worth living." Lisa felt her heart skip a beat. She had never heard Anna speak so seriously, with such raw honesty about her pain. "But then I met you," Anna continued, looking directly into Lisa's eyes. "And I remembered something my grandmother used to tell me when I was a little girl. She said that sometimes God sends us exactly the person we need. Exactly when we need them most. But we have to be brave enough to reach out and take what's being offered." Anna paused, her grip on Lisa's hands becoming slightly firmer. "You were brave enough to let me reach out to you that first night. You didn't pull away when I held your hand. You didn't think I was strange or inappropriate. And now I want to ask you something important." Lisa waited, sensing that whatever Anna was about to say would change things between them. "Would you be willing to learn more about what I'm trying to do here? Not just the serving and the volunteering, but the deeper work of helping people remember how to connect with each other?" Lisa didn't hesitate. "Yes," she said firmly. "I want to learn everything you can teach me." Anna smiled, but it was a different kind of smile than Lisa had seen before. It was full of purpose and determination, like someone who had found her mission in life. "Good," Anna said, "because I think this community needs what we can offer together. There are so many people walking around feeling invisible, feeling untouchable. We can change that, one person at a time." As they cleaned up that night, working side by side to wipe down tables and stack chairs, Anna told Lisa about her vision. She wanted to start a program that would train volunteers in appropriate healing touch, not just at the community kitchen, but in nursing homes, hospitals, homeless shelters, anywhere people were isolated and in desperate need of human connection. "Touch is a language," Anna explained as they worked together. "But like any language, people need to learn how to speak it properly, how to offer comfort without overstepping boundaries, how to show care without making people uncomfortable, how to heal without causing harm." Lisa felt something stirring inside her that she hadn't felt in years, a sense of purpose that went beyond her own daily concerns. Anna was offering her the chance to be part of something bigger, something that could genuinely help other people feel less alone in the world. "Where would we start?" Lisa asked, genuinely excited about the possibility. Anna smiled and gestured around the community kitchen. "Right here," she said, "with the people who come here every week. We start by showing them that they deserve gentle, respectful touch, that they deserve to feel connected to other human beings. And then, we teach them how to pass that gift along to others. That night, as Lisa drove home through the quiet streets, she realized her life was changing in ways she never could have imagined. 3 weeks ago, she had been a lonely volunteer going through the motions of helping others while trying to distract herself from her own problems. Now, she was part of something that felt like a calling, helping people remember one of the most basic and powerful forms of human communication. Anna was right. Humans did bond by touch, and Lisa was ready to learn how to help heal a world that had somehow forgotten how to reach out and hold on to each other. 3 months into their friendship, Lisa noticed that something was beginning to change about Anna. It started with small things that were easy to dismiss at first. Anna would sometimes pause in the middle of a sentence and look confused, as if she had forgotten what she was saying. She would repeat the same story twice during one conversation without realizing it. Her hands, which had always been so steady and purposeful when she worked, began to shake slightly when she was tired. Lisa's first instinct was to worry, but she didn't want to embarrass Anna by pointing out these changes. Instead, she began paying closer attention during their time together at the community kitchen and during their regular coffee meetings twice a week. One Tuesday evening, Anna seemed more confused than usual. She had been helping in the kitchen as she always did, but Lisa noticed her struggling to remember where things went. Anna kept looking around the kitchen as if she didn't recognize the space she had become so familiar with over the past few months. "Where do the soup bowls go again?" Anna asked Lisa for the 3rd time in 20 minutes. "Right here on this shelf," Lisa said gently, showing her again. "The same place they always go." Anna nodded and smiled, but Lisa could see uncertainty in her eyes. During the dinner service, something happened that made Lisa realize how serious the situation was becoming. Anna was serving soup to guests when she suddenly stopped in the middle of filling a bowl. She looked around the room with frightened eyes, as if she didn't know where she was or what she was supposed to be doing. The guest waiting for his soup looked concerned. "Ma'am, are you okay?" he asked. Anna just stared at him blankly, the ladle still in her hand but frozen in midair. Lisa quickly moved to Anna's side. "Hey, are you feeling all right?" she asked gently, placing her hand on Anna's arm. Anna looked at Lisa with eyes that seemed to not quite recognize her. I don't know where I am," Anna whispered, her voice shaking. "Everything looks strange. I don't remember what I'm supposed to be doing." Without thinking, Lisa took Anna's hands in hers, the way Anna had done for her so many times before. The moment their hands connected, Lisa felt Anna's breathing slow down. The fear in Anna's eyes began to fade, and after a few seconds, recognition slowly returned to her face. "Lisa," Anna said with relief, her voice stronger now. "Oh dear, I was so frightened. For a moment I couldn't remember anything at all." Lisa helped Anna to a quiet corner where they could sit down on folding chairs away from the busy dinner service. She kept holding Anna's hands, and she noticed that as long as they maintained that physical connection, Anna seemed calm and present. "Has this happened before?" Lisa asked gently, though she was beginning to suspect she already knew the answer. Anna nodded, tears forming in her eyes. "Sometimes I wake up in the morning and don't remember where I am. Sometimes I forget words for simple things like fork or shoe. I get lost walking to the grocery store even though I've walked there hundreds of times." Anna's voice dropped to a whisper. "I'm scared, Lisa. I'm scared of losing myself piece by piece." Lisa felt her heart breaking for her friend. She realized now why Anna's need for physical contact was so intense. It wasn't just about cultural differences or loneliness. Touch was becoming Anna's anchor to reality, her way of staying connected to the present moment when her mind began to drift into confusion. "We'll figure this out together," Lisa promised, squeezing Anna's hands. "You're not alone in this." Over the following weeks, Lisa learned more about how touch served as Anna's grounding mechanism. When Anna became confused or frightened, physical contact with someone she trusted would bring her back to the present moment. It was as if human touch was a lifeline that kept her tethered to reality when everything else seemed to float away. Lisa began adjusting their routine to better support Anna. During their volunteer work, Lisa made sure to stay close to Anna, offering frequent gentle touches, a hand on the shoulder when they worked side by side, holding hands while they walked from one task to another, sitting close together during their breaks. She noticed that Anna functioned much better when she had this constant physical connection to someone who cared about her. But Lisa also realized that she was learning something profound about the power of touch that went far beyond Anna's medical condition. She began incorporating Anna's lessons into her interactions with other people at the community kitchen in ways she never had before. There was Robert, an elderly man who came for meals every week but barely spoke to anyone. He would eat quickly by himself and leave without making eye contact with other guests or volunteers. Lisa started greeting him with a gentle hand on his arm while asking how he was doing. Over time, Robert began opening up about his loneliness, since his wife died 2 years earlier. There was Monica, a young woman with 2 children who always looked overwhelmed and stressed. She would rush through the line trying to keep her kids quiet and well-behaved. Lisa began offering brief, supportive touches, a hand on Monica's shoulder while she waited in line, or gently touching her children's hands while talking to them. Monica started smiling more and even began helping with cleanup after meals. There was George, a middle-aged man who had lost his job and his apartment. He seemed angry at the world and rarely thanked anyone for their help. Lisa started placing her hand briefly on his arm when she served his food and always looked him in the eyes when she spoke to him. After several weeks, George began saying thank you and even started conversations with other guests. Lisa discovered that appropriate, caring touch had an almost magical ability to help people feel seen and valued. She watched person after person respond positively to these simple gestures of human connection. It was as if people were starving for gentle physical contact and didn't even realize it until someone offered it to them. But as Anna's condition progressed, Lisa found herself becoming not just a student of Anna's philosophy but also her primary caregiver. Anna's episodes of confusion became more frequent, and Lisa realized that Anna was becoming dependent on their physical connection to navigate daily life. One evening, Anna seemed particularly disoriented. She had forgotten how to get home from the community kitchen, even though she had walked the same 6-block route dozens of times over the past several months. "I don't know which way to go," Anna said, standing on the sidewalk outside the kitchen looking lost and frightened. Lisa walked with her, holding her arm gently, and guided her back to her small apartment. Inside Anna's apartment, Lisa saw how sparse and lonely Anna's daily life really was. There were few personal belongings, just basic furniture and some old photographs on a small table by the window. The photographs showed a younger Anna with a man who must have been her husband and 2 children, a boy and a girl who looked to be about 10 and 12 years old. Lisa had never seen these pictures before, and looking at them made Anna's losses feel more real and heartbreaking. "Lisa," Anna said as they sat together on her small couch, "I want to ask you something important. I know I'm getting worse. I can feel my mind slipping away little by little. I know there will come a time when I won't remember things the way I do now." Anna took Lisa's hands in hers with the firm grip that had become so familiar and comforting. "But will you promise me something?" "Anything," Lisa replied without hesitation. "Promise me you'll keep doing what we started together. Keep showing people that touch is healing. Keep helping them remember that they're not alone in this world. Even when I can't remember how to do it anymore, promise me you'll carry this forward." Lisa felt tears streaming down her face. "I promise, Anna, I'll never stop." Anna squeezed Lisa's hands with surprising strength. "And promise me one more thing. When I get really confused, when I don't remember your name or my own story, don't let go of my hands. Touch will still mean something to me, even when words don't make sense anymore." That night, Lisa understood that their friendship was entering a new and more challenging phase. She was no longer just learning from Anna. She was becoming Anna's protector and advocate. But she also realized that Anna had already given her the most important gift imaginable: the knowledge that human touch could heal not just loneliness, but fear, confusion, and despair. Lisa began researching Anna's condition and learned about how physical contact could help people with memory problems feel grounded and secure. She started volunteering at a nearby nursing home one day a week, bringing Anna's lessons about healing touch to other elderly residents who were struggling with similar challenges. The program Lisa and Anna had dreamed of was becoming a reality, but in ways Lisa never could have expected. She was learning that sometimes the people who teach us the most about giving to others are the ones who end up needing our care the most. 6 months later, Anna's condition had progressed significantly, but her belief in the power of human touch remained stronger than ever. Even on days when she couldn't remember Lisa's name or where she was, Anna would still reach out for physical connection with anyone who came near her. Lisa had become Anna's unofficial caregiver, visiting her daily and helping coordinate her medical care. Anna's doctor had explained that while her memory was failing, her emotional and physical responses were still very much intact. Touch remained one of the most effective ways to comfort and communicate with her. Lisa had also expanded their original mission in ways that surprised everyone, including herself. She had started a formal program at the community kitchen called Healing Hands, where volunteers were trained in appropriate therapeutic touch for people who were isolated or struggling. The program had grown beyond Lisa's wildest expectations. Volunteers now visited nursing homes, homeless shelters, and even the local hospital, providing gentle, caring touch to people who desperately needed human connection. Lisa had been asked to speak at other community centers about starting similar programs, but it was Anna who remained Lisa's most important teacher, even as her memory continued to fade. One Tuesday evening, Anna came to the community kitchen as she always did, but she seemed more confused than usual. She didn't recognize the space or the people around her, and she appeared frightened by all the activity and noise. Lisa approached her carefully. "Hello, Anna," she said softly, though she wasn't sure Anna would remember her name. Anna looked at Lisa with uncertainty and fear, like a lost child looking for someone familiar. But when Lisa reached out and gently took her hands, Anna's whole body relaxed. Even though she couldn't remember who Lisa was, the familiar gesture of caring touch immediately calmed her fears and anxiety. "I don't know who you are," Anna said honestly, "but your hands feel safe." Lisa felt her heart break and heal at the same time. Anna had taught her that human connection could transcend memory, that love could be communicated through touch even when words failed completely. Throughout that evening, Lisa stayed close to Anna, maintaining gentle physical contact that kept Anna grounded and calm. Other volunteers and guests at the kitchen had learned to understand Anna's condition, and many of them also offered gentle touches and warm greetings that helped Anna feel welcomed and secure. Lisa watched as person after person reached out to Anna with kindness. A brief touch on her arm, a gentle pat on her shoulder, someone taking her hand while talking to her. Anna might not have remembered their names or faces, but she responded to each gesture with a smile and visible relaxation. It was exactly what Anna had always said would happen. Humans bonded by touch, and that bond could exist even when memory failed completely. After the kitchen closed that night, Lisa walked Anna home as she always did. As they sat together in Anna's apartment, Anna had one of her increasingly rare moments of clarity. "Lisa," she said suddenly, recognizing her friend, "I want to tell you something while I can still remember it clearly." Lisa took Anna's hands and waited patiently. "The program you've started, the way you're teaching people to use touch for healing, this is bigger than either of us ever imagined. You're not just helping people feel less lonely, you're teaching them to be human again." Anna paused, looking directly into Lisa's eyes with the same intensity she had shown during their first meeting at the community kitchen months ago. "In my country, we had a saying, 'The hands remember what the heart cannot forget.' Even when my mind fails completely, my hands will still know love, they'll still know kindness, they'll still reach out for connection." Tears streamed down Lisa's face as she understood the full weight of what Anna was telling her. "Promise me," Anna continued, "that you'll keep teaching people this truth. that you'll help them understand that touch is not just comfort. It's how we prove to each other that we exist, that we matter, that we're not alone in this world. Lisa squeezed Anna's hands firmly. I promise, Anna, I'll never stop sharing what you taught me. 3 months later, Anna moved to a memory care facility where she could receive the specialized attention she needed around the clock. Lisa visited her every day, and even though Anna rarely recognized her anymore, she always responded positively to Lisa's touch. The Healing Hands program had grown to include dozens of volunteers who worked in locations throughout the city. Lisa had been asked to speak at conferences about therapeutic touch, and other communities were starting similar programs based on Anna's simple but profound philosophy. But Lisa's most meaningful moments still happened during her daily visits with Anna. Even on Anna's worst days when she was frightened and confused by her surroundings, Lisa could calm her simply by taking her hands and holding them gently. One afternoon, as Lisa sat holding Anna's hands during a particularly difficult episode, Anna looked at her with momentary recognition. "You learned," Anna whispered, her voice barely audible. "You understand now. Touch is love made visible." Those were the last clear words Anna ever spoke to Lisa, but they contained everything Lisa needed to know about carrying forward Anna's legacy. Lisa continued her work, teaching others that human touch was not something to be feared or avoided, but something to be offered with intention, respect, and love. She helped train hundreds of volunteers who brought healing touch to thousands of people who desperately needed to feel connected to other human beings. And every day, when Lisa reached out to take someone's hand or offer a gentle touch of comfort, she remembered Anna's words. Humans bond by touch. It's how we know we're not alone. The lesson had become Lisa's life mission, and through her work, Anna's wisdom continued to heal people long after Anna herself could no longer remember teaching. White touch remained the universal language of love, and Lisa had become fluent in speaking it to anyone who needed to hear it.